Welcome back to Science. I'm your host,
Mhm.
Boston PhD. I'm joined as always by Dr. Moon.
I
We have a quick note here from someone that's calling them Boston and Moonpier. I don't think those are their real names. They
no.
said that the next game here that they're going to be playing, that's not our problem, is Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. That'll be their next roguelike. They also wrote a note that just says science sucks and they drew a butt, which is like real rude. I don't really. Science is serious,
Yeah.
nerds.
hmm
So, whatever.
Science is time consuming is what it is, and they
That's
don't
right.
respect the effort that we put in
That's right.
every X amount of weeks to do the science while they're off gallivanting around.
That's right. It's certainly not just like half an hour or anything. It's science is
Nope.
serious. That's why they both start with S. All right, we're here to talk about ranking Slice and Dice. If this is the first time you listen to one of our ranking episodes, we have the giant list, the infallible list of the best roguelikes of all time. If you'd like to go see the list, go check the Discord server, click on the WRI channel, and on the top bar there, you got a link to the Excel spreadsheet. If you're watching the video version, it's over here to our right. It's right there. The blue thing.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-huh.
It's not to our right.
It's to my right.
It's no, it's not. It's to our left,
Don't worry.
isn't it?
It's flipped. It's flipped for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. It's all. It's here on the screen. It's the other
stage
part.
right. There we go. It's
Yes,
stage right.
That's exactly right. So we're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like about Slice and Dice. We'll ask the question we ask every month, which is, will we continue to play the game? And then we'll figure out where it's going to rank here in our list of the best roguelikes of all time. So
hmm
let's start off. Moon, what are your final thoughts here for Slice and Dice?
It is still on my phone. I'm still losing sleep and time to this game.
I
He
think
says
that's
as he
the
yawns, emphasizing the point.
that's right. I think that's the highest compliment we can give a roguelike is like we finished the 4 weeks and we're just like, all right, delete it from the con. We're good. I'm all done. We're good.
Yeah, yeah. This is oh boy. Uh, there is too many modes in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So many modes. I'm having fun just bouncing from different thing to different thing. My hard generated run is going very poorly, so now I'm just playing the generated run on easy, which is still very poor
Yeah.
because it's so weird, dude. You don't have specific classes, so you don't know what you're gonna get. So you'll get like a shield dude who's got a defender who's got one shield and the rest of it is all stupid stuff, and it's just like I just want some shields.
We Roguelike an alumnus, Monkey Senior posted a screenshot of his, was it raid run, where it's like 12 characters and 12 dice and like 28
wow.
enemies. It's just like, okay, yeah, all right, word.
That's a lot of math to be doing in your head.
Seems incredible. I love it. So there's untold riches to continue to find in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess that answers the question of, are you going to continue playing it? The answer is
Yes.
I already am.
Yeah, especially when it's on my phone. Like that's the thing,
Right.
is because it doesn't take up much space. It's not a resource hog, so it can just live on my phone.
And listen to a podcast.
Exactly, listening to a podcast, and then all of a sudden, all you hear is like the random noise as I start doing weird things, like rolling my dice.
As you feed that into your microphone.
Hit the quick click buttons here. Yes. Ooh, always fun.
That's right.
It's got such good sound effects. Like
it really does.
And it's something which we didn't really talk about in the rest of the things is every attack sounds different depending on if it's hitting shields as well. They have different sound effects for what attack it is doing, and if it hits shields, if it goes through the shields, or if it's stopped by the shields. It's like 4 different sound effects. It's for each attack. Really good.
Yeah, I Slice and Dice is one of those games that I am sad that we're not playing it for the show anymore. Like we said, there's some games where we finish and we're like, oh god, okay, we made it 4 weeks. That did not click with either one of us. It's fine, but I am good. Thank you very much. But Slice and Dice is one of those games of just like, yeah, I could keep playing this. Thankfully and unfortunately, it's not on my phone because I would probably be just draining battery after battery playing this thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
I just rolled a new easy run on the generated thing, and the item I got as a blessing because I need a blessing is triple the pips of the right hand side dice.
perfect, love it.
None of my characters have anything on the right hand side of their dice.
Biscuits. Oh man, yeah. I don't think there's much more I can add to sort of what we've talked about with Slice and Dice over the last 4 weeks.
Shockingly good.
It's
I will say.
very good, and if you are listening to this show because you like roguelikes, you should play Slice and Dice. It's the easiest recommendation of here you go. It has a great tutorial. It has all of the information in the menu at any time for you to just go back and look at. It's not one of those gatekeepy games. It's not one of those games of like, oh, you don't have the wiki open? Oh, you fool. You know,
it's not
like,
Enter the Gungeon.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, you don't know the synergy. He doesn't know the synergies. You know, like it's not one of those. It's very much like, I'm going to give you all the information. The game is going to, Into the Breach style, give you all the information. Solve the puzzle. Or don't, because you're not going to win every run.
Yeah, and it's genuinely, like, it's been so fun. And like I said, it's on Android devices. So if you have an Android phone, like, I cannot recommend it. Like, it's super crisp, super clear.
On PC, it will probably run on literally everything you have.
Yeah, and like on my phone, it's laid out nice. Like, my phone's a big phone, but it's not a huge phone kind of situation. Like, it's an above average size phone, but everything is split up nicely. You got the whole thing where you can like tap the field to line the dice up. It feels like so much thought and care has been put into like little features that you don't think about until you're, I don't know, doing a 5-week breakdown or sorry, a 4-week breakdown in science. On a game, and you're like, oh, I really appreciate this thing or that thing.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's figure out where this is going to live in our giant list of the best roguelikes of all time. I'm trying to find our game. Here we go. We're going to start here with Wizard of Legend. Is Slice and Dice better than Wizard of Legend? That's our number 25 game.
Oh, it is, and unfortunately, Descenders goes further down.
Sorry, Descenders. You're good.
You should put numbers on the left of these.
If I could, I would really love to. Which is why I've been on the lookout for something a little bit different to orient this list.
That's what Excel's for.
Yeah. It's not as nice to like drag these cards around.
Presentation wise, it's not great. No.
I just need one of those top-down cameras where I have a bunch of post-it notes and I'm just moving the post-it notes around. That'll be easier, right?
Yeah, that'll 100%.
Yep.
And you won't have to rewrite them every week to reset up the entire thing.
No, absolutely not. It'll be great. That's for the other guy. I think Slice and Dice is better than Wizard of Legend. I think Slice and Dice.
Wizard's cool. It's a fun game. It's so brutally difficult, though.
Right.
But the ironic thing here is, and this is something that we'll revisit a lot in this ranking, is Slice and Dice is hard.
Yes.
But a run is like, if it's a hard run, it's like 15 minutes tops.
That's true.
And you can quit and load at any point. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Wizard of Legend feels like when it gets hard, it is a long run just to get stomped down right near the end of a very long time.
Ed McMillan is still out there talking about Mutagenics, his next game. Someone asked him the other day, like, how many minutes on average is a run? He goes, it's only like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, bro, I'm out. Come on, man. I respect it, but like, man, come on, man. I don't
need
have
faster
that kind of time.
times.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you could go and load up Gungeon now and do a 2-hour run and be fine with it.
Yeah. Depending on how many times I loop through the game on one run, yeah, 100%. I think Slice and Dice is better than Wizard of Legend. Personally. Is Slice and Dice better than BPM bullets per minute?
Yes. Yeah. I love BPM so much.
Yeah.
But BPM feels like the alpha protocol of roguelikes, where it's like conceptually incredible,
Yeah.
charming, wonderful on so many different levels, and then for you, impossibly difficult at the very first level.
The tallest mountain. So bad at that game, man. Is Slice and Dice better than Nuclear Throne? Here's another brutally
Yes,
difficult game.
yes,
Difficult?
because it's not that hard.
Yeah. Tough but fair, Slice and Dice is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also it's one of those things like I feel like maybe it's because the age of it, but Nuclear Thrones like jokes, quote unquote, don't feel like they really landed with me. Whereas
Sure.
like in this, whenever there is a quote unquote joke, like the save button, that's tongue
Say
in
button's real
cheek
good.
in such a wonderful, charming way.
Yeah. Is Slice and Dice better than Risk of Rain 2? Oh boy.
Let's talk about
Um,
really hard last bosses, shall we?
they share that same DNA.
Dude, I came across a dragon, and that
Oh
thing
dang.
wrecked me.
I mean, a dragon should wreck you. You know that feels
It was
appropriate.
doing like 12 damage a hit.
Dang. All right. Dragon's got hands.
No, it doesn't. It
Uh
has fire breath. It's a dragon.
that's true. Um I really love Risk of Rain 2, but I feel like there's so many asterisks on recommending Risk of Rain 2 of like, don't finish it. Just don't go to
Don't ever
just
play
loop
the last
forever.
level.
Yeah, don't
Hmm.
ever check out the last level. It's not that's not for you. That's not for anybody.
And like the lunar currency is like cool, but really grindy in that thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like there's and not to mention those enemies that can just warp you out of existence when you do start looping enough.
So great. Love them so much. They're so good. Yeah. So yeah, Slice of Dice is probably better than Risk of Rain 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Slice and Dice better than Cult of the Lamb?
It is more of a roguelike than Cult of the Lamb. I think I
Yeah, I
enjoyed
agree with that.
Cult of the Lamb more, but I think this is when you get to the tendencies of rogue and roguelikes and lights
Mm-hmm.
and everything else, I think this is the Darkest Dungeon question all over again.
Right.
I
Right.
think it is definitely much more and stronger of a roguelike than Cult of the Lamb is.
I'll agree with that. I like that. Here we go. Head-to-head dice. Is Slice and Dice better than Dicey Dungeons?
I liked it so much more than Dicey Dungeons. Dicey Dungeons was cool, but it
Yeah.
never clicked with me. It never landed with me.
Boo! I love Dicey Dungeons, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think Slice and Dice has that puzzle solving mechanic that I think clicks more with me of like, here's what the entire turn looks like from everybody's perspective.
Mhm.
What are you going to do? How do you get through this situation?
And it also has like that risk reward thing of you got a 2, you have a 3 on one of those dice, but if you roll it, you might get a nothing.
Right,
And like
exactly.
it's that constant temptation of do I accept the 2 or do I go for the 3, knowing it's like
Right,
1 in 6 shot for that,
right.
and I might get nothing.
Yeah. I think Slice and Dice is better, personally. Scoop. Is Slice and Dice better than Has Been Heroes? Oh, boy.
I definitely prefer the combat in Slice and Dice.
Yeah.
Has Been Heroes is great conceptually, and it's so unique in the way
Yeah,
it does
still
everything.
one of one, you know.
Yeah, like it's very it's the Crypt of the Necrodancer of a
Right.
turn-based battle, active time battle system. Um, but that's one. The ironic thing is as well, they share so much like DNA because they
Mm.
both have different colored heroes who do different types of things based on their
Oh,
coloration of their characters.
sure, true, yeah. That's a good point.
For me, I think I prefer Slice and Dice. I think Slice and Dice for me is a better game than that.
I agree.
And that could again just be something as simple as my personal preference.
Right. I agree. Has Been Heroes is still really great and really unique, but Slice and Dice is really great. Slice and Dice better than Loop Hero.
I think so.
I
Speaking of one-on-ones, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I really love Loop Hero. But yeah, I agree. I think Slice and Dice for me is more
It has that
my speed.
like, and I know that's kind of the whole point of it, but it feels less automated in
Mm-hmm.
Slice and Dice. Loop Hero
Right.
is, by its nature and definition, kind of an automated game.
Right.
It does a lot of things automatically, and then you have to make certain decisions along the way. Where this is super engaging on, like, as soon as you start rolling those dice, you have to be engaged.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not one of those like punishing you for not being 100% in. It's not a soul like in that way.
Right.
It's very much more of a like a no, just take your time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the undo feature, being able to undo everything you do just to try and find the
Yep.
right
And
thing.
there's no
I
penalty.
have, except for all of the items that you unlock for that achievement, which are just trash tier items, by the way.
Great. I love it.
100. So that's why the achievement is I wish I could undo this, and that's why we were
Oh,
warned
that's
against it
clever.
in the
Okay.
Discord. Is because you just get trash tier items.
That's really good.
Like there's, I got one item and it was like put a basic attack item on the right hand side, but
Mm-hmm.
it does 0 damage.
Perfect. I love it.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks, I guess.
I think where if you're directly comparing the two, I think for me where Slice and Dice wins out over Loop Hero is Loop Hero at the end of the game turns into purposely a grindy sort of thing. Like you're rerunning levels, you're refighting bosses, you're gathering materials and stuff. Where I think Slice and Dice
We've barely scratched the
unfolds.
surface.
Yeah, and I think it unfolds and kind of blossoms more naturally of like, oh, you beat this mode, you get another one. You've done enough stuff in this mode, you're going to get this other thing. You're going to get more items that kind of um, don't necessarily make the game easier, but kind of continue to unfold the mechanics and give you more and more
Hmm.
options and more verbs for you to play with. Where Loop Hero, by the time you start grinding stuff, you already know how to play the game. You're just kind of grinding your way to the next thing. So,
I've now unlocked 52 achievements in Slice and Dice, by the
wow,
way.
that's a ton.
And it's one of those weird things where it's just like, yeah, this is kind of really, like you said, it's evolving very naturally. It's like very much a case of this is cool.
Yeah.
Like I got the generate mode and I'm like, what the hell does generate mean? And then I tried it and it's like, okay, I'm having fun with this, like this
Right.
aspect of the game. But then I can also go back and just do any one of the other 6 modes I've unlocked and not even scratch the surface of the amount of
Right.
modes on that right hand side.
All right, I'm going to put Slice and Dice over Loop Hero. Is Slice and Dice better than Genesis Alpha 1? Oh, boy. Ooh, the tough one.
I hate saying this.
Uh-huh.
I think it is. Because I think Slice and Dice is so polished, so refined. Yeah. It is such a final product in that way. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we were playing Genesis Alpha 1, it is a final product, but it feels like an alpha.
It's a passion project.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like it could do with a lot more polish and a lot more depth to a lot of not depth to the systems, but the clones all look the same. Everybody all looks the same. The enemies
tutorials
are
kind of rough.
Yes, non-existent, one might say.
Right.
I think Slice and Dice as a final product is so well realized in every aspect of it, and from what we understand from the Discord, like there's been a long development process, like.
And we're playing like version 2 point something, so it's
yes.
There's been a lot of development.
Revisions. Yeah.
I agree. I think it goes above. Slice and Dice better than Enter the Gungeon. Couldn't be more different games.
Yep. I'm gonna let you go first on this one because I know you've been gungeoned into the cult, one might say.
Yeah, I've sung the praises of Enter the Gungeon for a long time. I think yes, largely because of Enter the Gungeon's difficulty ramp can sometimes be like 85 degrees straight up.
Oh,
Like
100%.
you're
I
gonna get
bounced off that
over it.
game for that reason.
Yeah, like you're gonna get over that hump eventually, but you're gonna smack your face in that wall a lot. And I think myself and I'm assuming you and a lot of people in the Discord. So we had a lot of people play this time.
I was gonna say
We don't always have a lot of
has
people
been
playing.
a shockingly busy Discord period for the We Roguelike It one.
Yeah. I think the on ramp to this is a lot smoother. I think the difficulty curve is a lot smoother, and I think, like we were talking about earlier, I think the shorter length of runs overall, I think helps a lot in just sort of like, all right, that run was like 10 minutes. I'll just do another. I could just hop into another one, as opposed to like sometimes a good Enter the Gungeon run. It's like, okay, I've finished a run. It was an hour. I move on to something else. So I think I would put it over Enter the Gungeon.
Mm-hmm. I would too. I just generally prefer this over Gungeon. Like, Gungeon was one that maybe it was the wrong time for me, like in my personal life, but I struggled with that thing so much.
Mm-hmm. Is Slice and Dice better than Risk of Rain, the original one?
Did Slice and Dice lie to me? I will never let that die.
That's right. Risk of Rain, you lied to. You lied to Moon. Mm-hmm. This one's really tough. I would say I think it goes above Risk of Rain. I think they both have the benefit of initial kind of accessibility. I don't want to say simplicity because they're not really simple games, but I think the kind of ease of onboarding of like, oh, it's just rolling some dice. You got a couple classes. Risk of Rain is like, you're just shooting a bunch of Lemurians. No big deal. But I think the way that like we talked about, Slice and Dice, I think unfolds in a more interesting way. It kind of continues to continue showing you more and more things that are interesting as you dive into it. Where I think the original Risk of Rain has the benefit of getting really crazy by the end of a lot of runs, but there's maybe not necessarily the amount of depth that Slice and Dice has.
Yeah. I think it's potentially the one down thing about Slice and Dice, like the one negative I could say about it is so far I haven't become God in the game yet.
Right.
And it's something that we both do appreciate in our roguelikes. When something happens, then it just breaks the build and you just sweep through the end of the game without any hassle at all. I haven't run into that yet in this game.
That's true.
But weirdly, I don't feel like it's missing you. I don't feel like this particular game should have that in, and I don't feel like it's a negative for it to not have it in.
Well, a lot of roguelikes we play where, especially where you're like picking up items or picking up gear or things like that, like it's something that Risk of Rain does really well. It's like, you want 15 rocket launchers? Sure. It's just going to get more powerful every time you pick them up. You want 20 double jumps? Yeah. Go crazy, whatever.
I remember that run.
Some roguelikes we play, they'll be like, oh, you can only have a max of 3 jumps. Like you're not allowed to pick up more stuff, or like you can't have more than 2 rocket launchers. That would make you too strong. And I don't think Slice and Dice has that problem because it's more grounded in, here are your options, here are your, like, even if there's something that's really great, like that run I had where I was doing triple damage on stuff, I smoked that run till I fought the final boss, and I was like, oh, right, I have not diversified my options here. That's the end of that run. Got it.
I would have just chipped away at that boss with spells until I got one attack in with that person. I'd be like, you're done.
Yeah. I would put it over Risk of Rain.
I'm good with it.
Slice and Dice better than Void Bastards.
I think so.
This is another tough one because we both still really like Void Bastards. Probably another game we should return to at some point now that they've had a ton of patches and stuff.
Bunch of patches, yeah.
But man, that difficulty spike in that game of just like, I'm doing great. Whoops, nope.
Rough.
Certainly not.
It's real rough.
Hmm. I think I would put it over Void Bastards.
Yeah. They both have such unique art styles too. Like Void Bastards is a
True.
very good one.
Yeah.
Um, I think art style wise, I would probably go for Void Bastards, but I think overall, I think Slice and Dice is
Mm.
the better of the two options.
To be fair, Slice and Dice doesn't have you rehydrating humans, though, which is a negative in its.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Slice and Dice better than Neon Abyss. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. These are the real. This is number 13. These are the ones we really like.
Do we do the ode to roguelikes with its own unique spin?
Right.
Or do we go with the more wholly unique
See,
roguelike?
the thing that still bothers me about Neon Abyss, and it still bothered me when we were playing through it again when we revisited
At
at
the
the
end
end
of
of
the year.
last year, is it still feels like you're not super incentivized to pick up new weapons. Like, obviously,
Yes.
actives and passives and stuff like that, and you're upgrading your gun, but the starter gun, the more you upgrade that, still feels really good in that game when you get it really
Yeah.
upgraded, and some of the guns you're picking up are sort of like,
Some of them are trashed, yeah.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, I upgraded them, and the upgrades carry over, but it's not great. A starter gun is
Yeah.
pretty good. So that's like always my big negative for Neon Abyss. Is like, I wish there was more incentive. I wish the weapons you're picking up, especially because there's an investment and there's a cost to them. I wish it was more impactful, especially with how rare they feel.
Yeah. I honestly I could put it above Neon Abyss.
That's the way I'm leaning as well. Slice and Dice is just real good.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. Is Slice and Dice better than Dreamscaper? Oh boy.
I really like Dreamscape. I genuinely do. The presentation is fantastic. The combat is solid.
Yep.
The roguelike elements of it are fantastic. You didn't get past the third floor.
Yeah, that the ramp to the difficulty on that one was pretty serious. It's
And it gets
great though.
harder. Like that's the
Dreamscape,
scary thing. It gets so hard.
yeah, Dreamscaper is great though. Another really cool presentation on a roguelike.
Such unique ideas in that one too. Like the fact
Mm,
that the the roguelike part of the game is literally your dreams, and then when
yeah,
you wake up you're like doing social like calls and like that
yeah.
kind of thing.
I still think I'll put Slice and Dice over Dreamscaper though.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Is Slice and Dice better than Spirit Hunter's Infinite Horde? Spirit Hunters is so good.
It is very good. It is super super good. It is very derivative,
Mm.
which arguably Vampire Survivors is derivative. I don't want to get into that argument right now.
Yeah, the whole lineage of that is like not the point.
Yes. I prefer Slice and Dice.
I agree.
Spirit Hunters is great if I want to switch my brain off. It is the crew of roguelikes where I can just turn my
That's
brain
right.
off and not worry about it and not think about it and just chip away at it.
Right.
But then I'll do something stupid like pick up a fireball when I shouldn't have done for the challenge, or I'll make a bad
Yeah.
decision and die on the last boss. Spirit Hunters has been patched and so much has been built into that system now with the guide on how to get everything on the web and everything else that's going on. If you said to me right now, you can sit at your Xbox and play Spirit Hunters, or you can load up a game on your phone, I'm going to load up Slice and Dice right now.
Yeah.
And that might be recency bias, but at the
Sure.
same time, I'm also annoyed that we're recording this podcast right now because I hit new game and I can't play it because we're recording.
That's right. I have a game running right now. I could just be playing Slice. Yeah. I agree. I love Spirit Hunters, and I like we've talked about with Vampire Survivors, the meditative quality of it. But Slice and Dice just really clicks with me.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now we have a problem.
Is Slice and Dice better than Into the Breach? Blood Brothers. the puzzle solving duo.
Into the Breach is not my preferred genre.
Mm-hmm. I think Into the Breach is much harder too, even in the outset.
Yes. It is 100% not my genre. I'm not an SRPG kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know this about me. Into the Breach is still number 10 because it is arguably one of the best perfectly executed games that exists to this day. It knows exactly what it wants to do, and it does it arguably perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Slice and Dice can go above Into the Breach. I love Slice and Dice. Personally, for me, on a gut check level, I would rather play Slice and Dice than Into the Breach. That's a mixture of Into the Breach being on my PC and not on my phone. And also just the general, I feel less guilty about a run going south in Slice and Dice because it's like, cool, restart, let's go, instantaneously. Into the Breach has got some of the best looking, some of the best sounding, some of the best storyline integration.
That's true.
Slice and Dice doesn't have a story. It's roll some dice and go through a dungeon. It's very little minimal story.
That's a positive for me at this point, though.
True.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, you don't get the Into the Breach moment of the people arriving and all of the people in the buildings going, "Yay, the Rift Walkers have arrived!" How did I remember that they're called the Rift Walkers?
We can't remember Into the Breach's game name most of the time. I'm very impressed.
It's so good.
I think, for me, Slice and Dice goes over Into the Breach. I think because Into the Breach, its difficulty and run length is a negative compared to Slice and Dice.
True.
Because I think Slice and Dice, there's a reason you have that shortcut mode of just like skip the first 8 levels, because the ramp on the difficulty as you go through the 20 levels feels really good, and even as you're rocking through 20 levels, it's going pretty fast most of the time. And like we've been saying,
honestly, I will say, like, the visual, like, I don't know if it's just the way it read, but they share the same thing of, like, Into the Breach and Slice and Dice have the same thing of, this is the move, this is the moves of the turn, what are you going to do?
Right.
I feel like I progress so quick on Slice and Dice because just my visual reading of it is so much easier than it is in Into the Breach. I would always make a stupid mistake in Into the Breach and something will get hurt because I hadn't seen something. It was there, I just didn't see it.
The colors next to the enemies in Slice and Dice, that's the biggest thing. It's so good.
Because it's like, oh, my healer is getting killed with like +7. Can I like wipe out who's attacking them? Can I wipe out 1 or even 2 of these enemies doing these big hits?
Yeah, 4 enemies have blue next to them. That's probably pretty bad.
If you think it goes above it, we can put it above it. I prefer it above it. I
think it does go above it. I think they're kind of, they do the same thing very similarly, but I think Slice and Dice, I think executes it a little bit better, especially with its UI readability. I think that helps a ton.
Yes.
Okay, Slice and Dice better than Everspace. All hail the gunship.
All hail the gunship.
This is number 9, by the way. We're here in the top 10.
I have a question, Boston.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull a Vampire Survivors here.
I'm okay with doing it.
Does this go number 7 and stop?
So number 7 is currently Dead Cells. So right now is 9 is Everspace, 8 is Hand of Fate 2, 7 is Dead Cells, and 6 is Atomicrops.
I think it hits right below Dead Cells. No, not below Dead Cells, sorry. Below Atomicrops.
I think that's a really good spot for it. I don't think it beats Atomicrops. Atomicrops is just something incredibly special.
Yes. I I love Everspace. I love me some space shooter games.
Mm-hmm.
I think this flows a lot smoother than Everspace.
Sure.
And we got to the end of Everspace in 4 weeks, and then it was like, now you go back and do it again. Here is the reason why, and it gives a logical reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But it took 4 weeks to get to that point, like
It's
that.
true.
And we only got to that point because of the gunship. Like, let's just get right down to it. That's the
All hail
reason
the
why
gunship.
we got to that point. Hand of Fate 2 is incredible,
It's so good.
but there's a lot of systems in there that I think need a little bit of tweaking to be right up there. Dead Cells is fantastic. It's fun.
It's a classic.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's super duper hard, and it feels like one of those games because it's so tight, because the combat is so tight, because the design is so good. It feels like one of those games where if you stop playing, it's the Dark Souls of those type of games. You stop playing, you lose it, and you're back to square one every single time. I think it gets
I like
here
it at
and
7.
It stops.
Yeah. Is above that for anybody that's just listening to audio version. Number 6 is Atomic Crops. 5 is Crypto the Necrodancer. 4 is Hand of Fate. 3 is Rogue Legacy 2. 2 is Vampire Survivors, and 1 is Hades. I think 7 is a really great spot for Slice and Dice. It's great. All right.
We definitely
Congratulations, Slice and Dice. Yeah, we definitely started. We try and make sure that we start low enough that it's like if we run into a kind of big blocker, it's not a 5-minute episode. Now it's a 35-minute episode. But yeah, number 7. Congrats, Slice and Dice. You broke into the top 10 of the list of. We're on 59, so 59 roguelikes right now. You're at number 7, which is. If this
and look at the ones that are above it. Like, in fact,
all-time classics.
Forget the ones that are above it. Look at the ones below it.
Right.
Dead Cells, Everspace, Into the Breach.
Right.
These are big roguelikes.
Right.
And so really quick, I think part of the problem with the roguelikes is there's so many of them, it's impossible to cover them all.
Right.
Someone wants to pay me a full-time wage, I will happily play a roguelike every single day of the week.
100%.
Correction, full-time livable wage, please. Thank you very much.
Yes.
But this is the problem. You get those games that hit the mainstream, they hit the big time, and they get talked about. Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Hades, Vampire Survivors. These are all games that jumped to the top of everybody's lips because they made a huge impact. And I think over the past couple of years, part of doing this show is seeing the smaller things, seeing the charming things that people haven't really clicked onto yet. Like, Genesis Alpha 1 is a charmingly broken game that I had so much fun while I was playing it, that I literally just saw on a sale screen one time.
Spear Hunters Infinite Horde was a 2023 classic for us. It's just like, came out of nowhere, a longtime friend of the show, Rob, recommended it, and we're like, all right, we'll check it out. Whoops, it's incredible.
Nimp beat that game in a week and a half.
Right.
Played nothing else other than that game. And he doesn't even play roguelikes like we play roguelikes. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Right. And our friend Bill Severd recommended Slice and Dice to us a while ago and bought us copies, and he was 100% right. This game's great.
Yeah. I like Atomic Crops is like another one of those, like, one of the things I love doing about this show, and minor behind the scenes here, but the developer of this game has noticed that we've been doing episodes for it.
Love
and
hearing from the developers
on YouTube.
2 thumbs up, thank you.
Genuinely love it, genuinely appreciate it, because it means that you get to hear what we say, good and bad. Like, and I'm sure in this case you will be happy when you see when you hear this video,
I would hope,
when you see that you've knocked a titan of Into the Breach down. But like, this is the thing I love, is seeing these type of games and saying to everybody else who's got that brainworms that we do, give this one a shot.
Yeah, you need to play Slice and Dice.
Nobody is talking about this one. You should probably give it a shot because it might be right up your alley. Like, this is one of those games that I could hear Austin Walker talking about and being like, yeah, I love this game. Why isn't more people talking about this game? I've been playing this game for 5 years. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So if you made it this far and you haven't played Slice and Dice, go get it. Go play it.
Yeah, you probably should.
It is number 7 on the list of roguelikes for a reason. It's that good. You should go check it out. All right. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Don't forget, next game, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. That'll be the game we're playing for the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next run. Bye.
Bye.